Alright, yes guys, I'm gonna open this video by quoting a book that if you want to buy on Amazon used, I highly recommend. The BS Syndrome by Victor Salupo. I recommend you buy it. And in this book, what this video is going to be about too, is there's a quote, one of my favorite quotes in this book, and it works for every situation that you've got to ask yourself before you commit to any reaction, whether committing to saying, oh fuck you or fuck so and so, because of their acting or they could be harassing you, or they could be they may not be totally harassing you all the time. Some of them are, and if they are, you know, you almost don't want to tell them fuck that, or you know, fuck them, or fuck whoever said it. But then if it is coming from he said, she said, and whether they're harassing you or not, anyway, what they'll do is, you know, they're going to take it a certain kind of a way. They're going to, you know, they'll spin it a particular way just by your reaction, and they're monitoring your. I mean, it's not always physical intimidation. They won't physically intimidate you. There's a thing where people will ask you this shit. Some of them just want to know, they're acting on he said, she said, and they really think this shit. And maybe they could be laughing at you, and they actually think it, and they're falling for it, and then you correct them. But then you might correct them and watch the look on their face if they have a pissed off look in their face that they're trying to conceal a pissed off look on their face underneath a smirk or a smile or whatever. But what you got to ask yourself, this statement is when they're telling you this. Okay, first you ask, how are they telling me this? Why are they telling me this? And what where are they going with it? What's the motive? What's it leading to? I mean, this is before you ask this of yourself before you even ask that to them. You know, you can sarcastically ask it to them, but before you even go to them with that question, you know, well, who said? Oh, you know what? This, when you tell people, oh, that's a bunch of he said, she said, you don't actually believe that, do you? You know, I mean, so yeah, in that book, and this has a lot to do with gang stalking, because a lot of times gang stalking, people that ask you bullshit, you know, and who knows what they're gonna say, even though if you answer it, they'll go and in front of a bunch of other people, think you're gonna hang your head down, or you're gonna see some embarrassment or fear in your eyes or whatever. There's like, in front of people, there's like it's a shaming tactic, and they think that you're freaking. You almost want to say, "What? I'm not fucking born yesterday." Like it says, if you're repeating a he said, she said, right? You know, we can correct this, and maybe they're like, "Oh, okay," you know, and that's it, and it's over. Sometimes it ain't over. This person or people can be planting things ahead of time. You know what I mean? And if you get a person that is asking you the question you're doing, and you want to be as cordial as you can, you know, they're probably just, they may not necessarily be spreading it, they may be just asking you about it, he said, she said. I mean, I'm trying to be fair, you know, you don't want to presume everybody is out to get you, and it's gang stalking right away. But if you know how to diffuse it right, you know, you got people trying to plan it, you know, that person may not be the gang stalker or whatever people call it, but hey, he's probably a tool, a fool that somebody's being told shit, and he or she can be, you know, it's like anybody, the curiosity is get to them, they just got to know, and they want to suddenly ask you, and maybe they're already laughing because they think that. Then some of them will get mad because you correct them. And then, like I said, you see the pissed off look on their face, but they hide it behind a little smirk or laughter, you know what I mean? You know, but but they also, or when they ask you, you got to read their body language too. They're hoping, waiting for you to be all cringe. Oh my God, I think that like me or you might be, they're expecting you or me to cringe and be like, oh my God, they think that, what? Tell me, oh my God, please tell me, what can I do to prevent this from being said? Oh my God, they think that. But anyway, in this, if you got that far in this video, one of the things people tried to say to me, and I don't want to say a whole big story. You get people that you work next to, you see now and then a couple of different groups, and you see this particular people here and there that might even be jealous of you, and they try this bullshit every once in a while, you know what I mean, too. But you work in a factory for a little bit, and then you'll go in some construction job. The money is good, you got to watch the money, because there's sometimes you'll be off certain days, but you get some pretty damn good money for an assignment, you move around. But you'll get a person maybe that's the other race as you, trying to cause, he may be trying to cause trouble behind your back, you know, or try to embarrass you in front of other people of the other race. And you got to be careful. He might be trying to plant crap with the other people of his kind, and if you act the wrong way, you know what I mean, or you know, you get the one shit starter that's being passive aggressive, you know what I mean, that in his own heart, oh, he don't care if you're racist or not, or he don't care if you're gay or not gay or not, you know. But anyway, you get this dude that tries to say that, oh, I actually thought that you were gay. It's like these people were saying this because of how you present yourself. And I had friends of these, I go to these different assignments that even before they were even there, and they're all about me. I'm like, I have a bunch of them, and you know, they don't even think that shit. And I've been a couple of these places more often than them. I'm like, what the fuck you think I am, stupid? So, you know, they'll go and try to say, yeah, we'll work with a diverse group of people that are nice people. I worked next to people that were Mexican and all that, damn nice people, and joked together and all that, you know, apart from seeing them. You worked other assignments and they weren't in it. You'll bump into them once in a while, you know. Some of it's construction, some of it they'll send you in a factory where they need extra help. But so they're kind of, you know, they got this look on their face, the body language. Somebody with the same race as you too will pull this, but you'll get some person where there's a fairly diverse group, and you know, they might be trying to plant something because they're jealousy. Or you could be the only black person with more white people. You'll get somebody else trying to pull that shit. But oh yeah, hey, that Mexican guy that, you know, he was telling me, you'll go, oh, that Mexican guy, he was trying to tell me some way that he thought you were gay and different. And I'm like, well, geez, I had pretty okay conversations with that same guy. You know, he would. I don't think he thinks that, because he saw me look, because there was women working next to us that I'm trying. You know, you try not to be too flirtatious and all that stuff. You know, because after all, I do have a girlfriend, and it ain't right behind her back. But you may have. You're working right next to him, and you don't want to say anything, do too many compliments or anything else, but you'll notice, you know, tattoos different people have, and yeah, maybe they remind you of something. So how do they know you're not looking at women and you're trying to not, you know, act like you're flirtatious, or trying to act like you're not looking in any kind of a way? Because after all, you know, I'm a firm believer of one of those here. That might be so-and-so's girlfriend or wife. So I'm a firm believer and try to be as cordial as I can, and do a and I'm more like thou shalt not, you know, look or talk to anybody like that, because you don't know whose wife or girlfriend they are. So, like maybe some other people in their own minds, they're perverts, right? And they're looking at, you know, they're people, if you're like some kind of pervert, they're gonna be looking at that too, you know. But you almost want to tell, anyway, you almost want to tell them, oh yeah, that that one over there looked kind of like some person on TV I seen or something, you know. They're pretty, you don't want to say in any kind of, what do you call it, non-cool way, you know, that refer to them any kind of thing over an overly lustful manner that's not right, you know what I mean? So, and then you're trying to do what you're supposed to do, you know what I mean, too. And in that situation, you know, you seem to be making some decent friends, and maybe this person doesn't like it, so they're trying to tell you this shit like you're supposed to be scared. And in the meantime, you know, like you're joking with somebody else, that you know, you try not to be all looking at women no other kind of wrong way, you know what I mean, too. And like, and there's that like shaming tactic we always had when that's been going on since we were in school. That there's another. I mean, and I seem to think that these high-level, you know, gay rights activists don't care. I don't know if there's solid proof if I want to take a poll on the internet, or how I take a statistical poll on. Okay, I almost had some reason to believe. I don't know if I could prove it. If you can find statistics of if any of these high-level gay advocates care if you're like being shamed or harassed. That people use that gay shaming tool. It don't even, with all the gay people out of the picture, I seem to think sometimes some of them, all they care about is themselves. And if you told them, well, you're not gay, but yet these other people will pull that you might be gay card. And then there are some people that got bullied that way, or tried to harass or shamed back when they were in school, and they spitefully joined and became big advocates of the gay rights just out of spite, even though they're not necessarily gay. And I have a reason to believe that there's a spike in that because of that. But then I wonder sometimes how many of these actual gay people or hardline gay rights people care if you say, well, you're not gay, and then your other non-gay peers or non-gay people are trying to, you know, there's with the gay people out of the picture, there's this shaming tool that you wonder how many of the hardline gay people care. Oh, you know what? Oh, if you're not actually gay, then that doesn't really count as gay harassment or gay shaming. But yes, it does go on, and you know, there are a lot of people, if they admit to these games being played on them, I have a reason to believe that a lot of them that do that shaming are responsible and cause these non-gay people that are being shamed, that they later on grow up and they were spitefully, you know. So anyway, you get people in workplaces here and there will try to act like school kids and just try to play these little games, he said, she said, you know. And usually the hardline gay people will use the words homophobia. But I almost wanted to nickname this, I don't know what other people call it, I almost wanted to call it, you know how you got a type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes? I almost wanted to call it, in a way, type 2 homophobia, where usually the gay people always say, oh, homophobia. But then there's another type of homophobia with the gay people out of the picture. When the gay people, of course, could say, well, yeah, they're homophobic. But with no other gay people around, you get non-gay people that use this a tool, weapon to try to slap people down and intimidate people and shame people out of trying to pull shit. And yeah, and some of them might be afraid, so afraid of gay people that, oh damn, there, everybody around them must be gay too, and everybody's got to prove that they're not gay. And it's like fucking, yeah, it's like fucking ridiculous that even though you're not no soldier for gay rights, I see all that shit on TV protests. And some people will almost say, well, geez, if I was gay, I sure as shit wouldn't be going around on the streets like some of these other people were going. You know, I imagine there's a lot of gay people that are probably like, you know, and I ain't in with all that shit. You know, I'd rather have people just leave me alone. But you get these, that there's like a fear card. And I remember certain Henry Rollins talks where Henry Rollins is in that tolerance thing, and I remember quotes that are shaming where Henry Rollins said his father always was shaming him and saying, oh, don't wear your hair past the collar, people might think you're gay. And you can see a lot of that going on now. You know, I mean, I grew up with the metal bands, you know, the hair, and there are some of them even wear makeup. You might even listen to some of these other bands that the songs are fun to listen to, but these other bands, you know, and like Poison, which were really fun song to listen to, but you know, there are some people who try to say they're gay. Well, people wear makeup for the, you know, to be on the screen, and you get some music that's fun to listen to, and then yeah, I'm into that really rustic, straight in your face, I don't give a fuck music that's thrash, and I'll go into a little bit of thrash, punk rap combinations of it. Oh, you listen to this, you might be gay. But make no mistake about it, there's this, like I'm one of them people that, hey, you got somebody that happen to be gay or whatever, these two guys that are gay, you working next to in some place, and they're all nice to you doing their job, and somebody wants to say, oh, they're gay, let's go harass them or beat them up. And I'm more of the person that's like, oh, don't do that. Even though I'm not one of the people that are going to run out the streets. But yet, I'm one of them people too that you see all these people rally and, you know, out in the streets on the news, like every single person that's not gay and is straight is out to get them. I'm not, you know, one of those. And, you know, you'll get occasional. There's a yellow jacket buzzing right in front of this camera. It's not going in the camera. See that? You see that? There was a damn bug flying around there. It's just going on this side and we got it in the camera. But yeah, anyway, like when you're being like a borderline gang stalking, people come up, you ask you these questions. You know, they don't really think you're gay. They don't really think you're racist. They don't think you're that at all. They're looking for it, and they're they're coming right to it, you know, and the curiosity is they're asking you shit. But you can tell when the stuff circulates around that you get these people that are trying to chip away at the friends you have that are of other races and different things, and they're hoping that you're going to react some kind of way. Sometimes they'll go with hardly any people around and ask you, or they'll try some kind of thing to embarrass you in front of them, and you answer politely, and it's like, and then you'll say, and you actually, if one person asks you shit, you actually say to them right away, you indicate, well, I'm not saying it. You go, I'm not saying it's you. You're probably getting the information from he said, she said, and maybe, I'm not saying you're trying to discreetly cause trouble, but somebody telling you this shit is trying to discreetly cause you trouble, and you'll even practically hint, well, oh, let's see, you know, did somebody trying to, and then you ask them, well, yeah, you had people trying to do that to you, right? You know that, and you trying to tell them, you know that game, instead of going right and outright fuck you right to their face, or say, oh, fuck so-and-so, so they can go and tell, oh, he said fuck you, and then a big bunch of shit starts. You kind of you basically go to them, I ain't trying to hear that shit, and I ain't even, whatever that shit is, I ain't even trying to hear that shit. I ain't trying to, and I ain't even being intimidated by that shit. And basically you go like, well, I'm not trying to laugh in your face here, you know, I'm not, sometimes you're laughing in their face and they see you laughing in their face, right? And you go, well, I'm not laughing in your face, I'm laughing at the fact that, I'm laughing in the face of wherever it originated. Maybe not intent. You're giving people, you're doing them a favor. You're practically telling them in so many words, oh, I'm doing you a favor by rationalizing, said, oh, I don't know where you got it, or how many layers of he said, she said that this came. If somebody's doing it deliberately, or you're not, and you got to indicate to them, oh, I'm not accusing you of deliberately trying. Oh no, somebody telling you it might be the one that's deliberately trying to do it, but I'm doing them a favor. Maybe they're not deliberately trying to do it. They heard it from somebody. So if you got that far in this video, you got to be diplomatic, because whether you're religious, looking at this, whether you're black or white or Mexican or any kind of whatever, or people are trying to trip you up and make you react wrong. Yeah, even if there's no physical confrontation or verbal big bunch of arguing, people try to intimidate other ways, you know, because even some of the preachers or secular people say words have a tendency to cut their swinging, like a word is almost like a weapon, a knife, or like a gun, you know. Confucius, I think there was a thing where Confucius said in one of them things, like, you ever get them fortune cookies? Confucius said, a sharp wit is more powerful than an offensive weapon. But at the same time, you know, sometimes the preachers will say words are like weapons. They try to go into your armor. And without physical intimidation, when people come to you with this, where they're asking you something or trying to say something, they're looking for you to do any physical cringing, anything in your eyes are cringing. And they're looking too, if you're laughing in their face, that they're trying to look, are you really laughing in their face? Are you really laughing at it? And they're probably going to see in your face a little bit. They'll see it, that maybe one certain day that you might be a little, they're going to look too at a pissed off look in your eyes, hiding behind a smile, or a fuck you look. Yeah, you're going to get that. And they have, you're going to see in them a pissed off look in their face, or maybe they're mad because they're trying to embarrass you in front of certain people, and then you might counter it like I was trying to tell you here, and you're slightly embarrassing them because they have it already set up in front of these people, like they see you're going to cringe, and then those other people, whether they're on his side or yours or both, or they're pawns in the game, you know, of the manipulator, and then you come back with politely asking this, and you're not intimidated, and part of them, you know, as soon as you walk away, they're like, ooh, they couldn't go to the person that was trying to tell you the shit. They might be going right after you and then walk away. Well, ooh, he really messed you over, didn't he? And instead of you being laughed at, maybe they might get laughed at. And of course, sometimes it doesn't always end. If people that they're trying to embarrass you in front of end up laughing at them a little bit, they get mad. Instead of, what gets me is some people, instead of being satisfied that something ain't true, they get all mad, and they're trying to do or say something else, you know, too. But that's how things have a tendency to go too. You know, instead of being satisfied, the other person like gets mad, and there's almost like an innuendo of with their body language that if they're somebody that has more pull in a company somewhere, or somebody's relative, or another, you're supposed to cringe, because if you even politely counter somebody's thing, you know, there's an innuendo of that other people are trying to plant in your head that, oh, if you politely defend yourself in a diplomatic way that, oh, you might look like the aggressor, or you might look like a racist. Oh, you better shut up. But instead, it's almost like, oh, how dare you have friends of other races, and make it harder and be more intelligent, make it harder for me to embarrass you in front of these other people of that other race. Damn you, motherfucker! You know, like, you know, there's that one. There's always that one shit starter that chips away, and I'm saying it's I, for one, don't participate in racism at all. I ain't into that other Aryan nations or Ku Klux Klan shit you've seen on Gangland. Aryan nations, these people, they're doing these armed robberies. And there's people of all these other races out there. If you watch Gangland, they all do. You got all high-profile people that are doing some serious shit, but yet none of them should be stereotyped like their whole race of people do any kind of shit. And neither should you be stereotyped just because you're who you are, you know. But there's always that little bit of intimidation. There's that shit starter. You know what I mean? You have if you're one of them people that actually like the idea that you work next to a real motley crew of different kind of people and everybody gets along, you get this one little shit starter and all that. If there's no physical conflict, there's going to be passive aggression, you know, pull like little shit, you know, to try to, that's what some of the shit that you got to beware of.